It's happened to all of us. We get our rigs set up exactly how we want them, and we hit the road, spend a weekend or longer, only eventually to wake up to a fridge that's not running, or no more internet, or something has gone awry, and it is our campervan battery is dead. By the end of this video, you'll know how to avoid dead batteries in your campervan and how to choose the best charging methods for your unique situation and your budget. I've been living in vehicles, yurts, and sheds for 13 years, on and off grid. I want to share with you today what I've learned so that you can make your life on the road so much easier and you can relax knowing that your batteries are not going to go dead. It's actually not complicated. Once you know a few nuggets of information that I'm going to share with you today, so let's dive in. The first method for charging your batteries for your campervan is solar. And solar can happen in two ways. It can happen fixed, like on top of your roof, either flat, or you could set it up so you could angle your panels on your roof according to the angle of the sun. Or you could store your solar panel like this one in what's called a suitcase style. This is a suitcase style solar panel, and you can open it up when you want to use it outside, and you can adjust it to the angle of the sun. You can just put it on the ground and adjust it. This one comes with little straps that come out so that you can angle it. A couple of important things to think about if you're going to go solar. One is the amount of solar that you need. Well, an easy way to figure that out is to take the amount of watt hours you're going to use in a 24-hour period and divide it by about 5, because on a cloudy day in the middle of summer, let's say a little bit of clouds, some sun, some clouds, some sun, you might get about 5 hours of charge time into your solar. 7 hours would be an excellent day. That would be completely clear, wonderful day. If your panels are mounted flat on your roof, you're going to probably get about 7 hours. For one that you're going to angle intentionally, you might get a little bit more than that on a cloudy day or on a clear day. So sizing your solar system is really helpful. You could size it so that you get enough to keep your battery full after every 24 hours of usage. Now, what that means, though, is that after 24 hours of usage, if you've used up your entire battery, your solar panel needs time to fill it back up while you're still powering your fridge and your other devices, right? So sizing it more than what you use in a day is very helpful so that you have that buffer time to catch up. That's why we put more solar on our vehicles, or more suitcase solar, than we actually use in a 24-hour period. This is my portable power station, and I charge that with this solar suitcase. Each solar panel and power station needs to be considered for their compatibility. Power stations are not all created equal as far as how much solar they can take in and what kind of solar panels they're compatible with. So it's really important, as I learned the hard way after melting a cable, which is a fire hazard, by the way, putting a solar panel on my roof that put out too many volts for the cable that I was using. Not great. And it turns out that panel is not compatible with this little power station here. So it is important to ask the company that you get the power station from, or you're considering getting your solar panel from, if they're compatible. You can also ask ChatGPT nowadays, which is really nice, and be sure to use solar cables that can handle the voltage. Now that's with a power station. Let's go take a look at what it would be like with a standalone battery, like the Life Po 4 battery. This is called a charge controller. Makes sense. It's controlling the charge. Because with power stations, they already have built into them charge controllers, a bunch of other things as well that you're paying for, but you may not need. That's why the standalone battery is an economical option. You're not paying for things you don't need. You usually mount it on somewhere in your vehicle, and it would have ways to connect. They're all different. So what you would be doing is connecting your solar panel to these connectors and your battery then as well. And this would be placed right between. This is going to also be true if you're hooking up via the other charging methods that we're going to look at as well. The charge controller would go between the charging method and the battery. One thing to be aware of with this method is you do want to be sure, for safety, that the wires that you buy to connect everything are the correct gauge, so the right thickness. So that is the Litime 40 amp DC to DC dual input battery charger that I'll be reviewing on this channel. And you will be sizing your charge controller's amps, right, according to your battery and your solar panels. And again, you don't have to figure any of this out on your own. You can ask the company that you're buying from. Now let's take a look at the gas options. What are the ways that we can charge our campervan batteries using gasoline? When the weather isn't holding up for us to give us enough sun, or when we want to park in the shade, or maybe we're parked on a curb and there are trees everywhere, so solar just isn't going to cut it, then we have another option, which is to charge from our car. And in order to do that, we could drive for several hours or we could idle for several hours. Now, what is so shocking to me is the difference in cost. When I ran the numbers and the calculations and double-checked them and then ran them through AI to double-check them, I just kept thinking, this has got to be a mistake. It can't be true, but it is. The first way to charge your campervan battery using gasoline is through a DC to DC charger that's hooked up to your car's alternator. I already have one hooked up for my power station, so I'm going to show you that DC to DC charger. As you can see, it's mounted on the wall there. I had this professionally done because I was so new to this and really just felt for safety and also just neatness, because I'm not a very neat assembler of things. I wanted to get it done right the first time. So I paid to have this done at an RV repair shop. I think they did a beautiful job and it's been working flawlessly. So this is actually the Bluetti DC to DC charger. It is connected to my Bluetti power station, which I'll just get let me just get the Litime battery out of the way. All right, so here we go. This is my Bluetti power station right there. This power station powers my induction cooktop and anything else that's running AC. This is dedicated for AC. My Litime right here, standalone battery, the LifePo 4, is dedicated to my refrigerator. The power station is hooked up to DC charger, which is hooked up back here. You can see the wires, right, come down, and they connect, believe it or not, to my battery, which on these Ford Transits is actually under the seat, which is pretty wild. That's how you hook up the DC to DC charger. Okay, this is great. We have 3 ways we can charge our batteries. Now, if you want to save money on gas, I would suggest going to a different gas option, which is the generator. The generator is shockingly more affordable. The generators have come a long way. Even in the past, they were more affordable than driving or idling. The generators have inverters built into them, just like a power station. So you can plug your charger in from whether it's your standalone battery or your power station, just the charger that came with it, and you can charge it right into the gas generator. The gas generator will, on about gallon and a half get you 3 full charges on a 2,000 watt hour battery, which is just blows my mind. And so you're really paying $1 maybe on that $3 gallon of gas to charge your battery instead of 15. They also take less time. They charge faster. So that gas generator, I think, is really worth looking into. One of the reasons I have avoided gas generators in the past is because of the noise. For myself, my neighbors, campgrounds, a lot of campgrounds won't even allow them, with good reason. Gas generators can be crazy making for everybody involved. And I even saw a dog nonstop barking at a gas generator for hours, and nobody was doing anything about it. So gas generators, they can be problematic. But good news is there's more technology that's quieting them. And what we want to look for is a gas generator that's under 60 decibels, because at a little over 20 feet away, that would sound like a normal conversation. So it's just, yeah, in terms of decibels, that's true, but the actual sound of a generator may be irritating. So it's something I would use seldom. However, with the right solar setup, you might be able to get away with having a generator, gas generator, that you use on occasion. Just as an example, just a case example, I ran the numbers on my setup. And there'll be a video on this too, how to size your battery and your whole system. My setup would take about 16 days with 200 watts of solar for me to run out, because the 200 watts wouldn't be able to keep up completely, even if I had great sunny days for 16 days. And I really only want to put 200 on my roof. I don't want to take up more room than that on my roof. All right, so every 16 days, I pull out a gas generator and run it for a few hours. I think that's manageable. So depending on your setup, a gas generator may make sense. Something to consider. It's so much more economical. And the setup cost really isn't that different than a DC to DC charger, unless you splurge and get a pricier one that's like the quietest. The third way to charge your campervan batteries is very simple. You may want to be equipped with the ability to recharge your campervan batteries using an outlet, using alternating current. That's fine. There are 3 ways to do that. 2 involve just your standard 120 volt outlet, like this one, like the ones that we have at home or outside buildings, in businesses, cafes, and libraries. And there's actually a website called plugshare.com where they match people who want to offer up their outlets to people who want to plug in. And often it's a way to attract business. So that's something you could go to, is plugshare.com. I'm going to put a map up on the screen that shows all the places that have volunteered their outlets. It's always a good idea to confirm, though, that that's still allowed and what exactly the situation is. So that is definitely one way to do it. And all you would do is drive up to it, either take your battery out or keep it in using an extension cord like this one that's rated, of course, for your current. And you would just plug in the end of your power station's charger. You can actually, I don't know if you can hear it running right now, to the house outlet. If you're using a standalone battery, like the LiFePO 4 battery that I showed you, then you would buy a charger for that. The other option that you have for that simple AC 120 volt current is simply to get an adapter for the electric vehicle charging stations level 1, because they use the 120 volt. And what they do is they convert that cool little outlet there that has all, and there's a lot of computer going on, and they convert it to a standard outlet that you can use. If you want to use 240 volts so that you can charge even faster, then that would be a level 2 electric vehicle station, and they are everywhere. There are power stations that have that pre-equipped. They're pre-equipped to handle that. So if you're thinking about saving money on your battery charging setup, then I would consider a dual input like this one from Litime, this dual input DC to DC charger, because you can put your solar in it and your car's engine, and you can be using the gas method or the solar method. So that's pretty cool. If you don't think you're going to be driving much, if you really want to boondock and not have to idle, not have to drive very far, if you just want to stay put, then I think the gas generator is a pretty cool option. If you're more urban, then the AC outlets, like that plugshare.com website, maybe you know of some others that can hook you up with where to hook up for your campervan battery. It sounds like a great option, as well as the level 1 chargers for electrical vehicles, if you can find them, because I know they're getting phased out. What do you think? Does that seem to you like enough ways to charge your campervan battery so that it doesn't have to go dead? I hope so. I know that in my own case, I do a combination of rural and urban camping in my van. So I really want to be set up for both options, and I want it to be economical. As you've seen, charging your campervan batteries comes down to the sun, gasoline, or AC. That isn't the entire conversation, though. There's one more thing that we need to talk about in order to really know what you want to do for creating your ideal charging setup in your campervan or trailer, however you're traveling. And that is, how many days do you want to go between charges? With solar, that could mean how many days of cloudy weather, or let's say hail or snow, or just choosing to be in the shade somewhere. How many days do you want between charges? This is that DC to DC charger that would connect your battery to your alternator, which would use gasoline. Well, that could take driving. That could be 6 to 8 hours to charge up a 2,000 watt hour battery. How often do you want to have to drive that much or sit there and idle that much, plus the expense? Then, of course, there's the plugging into a wall somewhere. Well, how often do you want to leave your camping spot or your parking spot in an urban area to go plug in somewhere? Those are real questions that affect our lifestyle and can really interrupt that sense of flow. And I am on a mission to create flow on the road, for sure. Living on the road with a sense of flow and ease. What it comes down to for reducing the number of times you need to charge your battery is the size of your battery. Yeah, and it turns out that there's a much more affordable option than there used to be, and that is the standalone battery. Standalone batteries are much higher quality now than they used to be. They're much safer, and you get a lot more watt hours for a lot less money than a power station. A battery like that can give you days and days between, or even weeks, depending on your setup, between having to think about charging. Amazing. I put together a worksheet for you that I have found very helpful to figure out what size battery would work best for your lifestyle. That is linked down below, and it's at bluewonderlady.com. That's bluewonderlady.com. I hope that this is all helpful for you, that now that you know the 3 main charging methods for your campervan battery, as well as a bit about how to size your battery, that your life on the road could have more flow and ease and just more time doing what you want to enjoy. If you find content like this helpful, subscribe, share with a friend, and stay tuned, because this video is part of a power series that will have all kinds of videos for you. I hope that this all helps you enjoy your journey even more. And I will see you in the next video.